Hello, tourist. Welcome back. Pets, they are our fluffy friends. In our society, pets have grown to be more than just our companions, they are members of the family, sometimes becoming a surrogate for a child. A far cry from their wild origins. Take a cat, for example, once a fierce wild animal, then domesticated for the utilitarian purpose of killing mice and rats, now it is a cute overlord for whom we all serve. Just as popular, the dog, once a fierce wild wolf, tamed by man to become our best friend, working by our side and being selectively bred to fulfill all sorts of different roles. But for the majority of dog owners these days, we probably keep our dog confined to our yard or house and take them out for a walk as required. For this video, we will stay focused on dogs and some of the things that people often overlook when it comes to dog ownership. We will divide dog ownership into 4 parts. Pre-ownership, the beginning, the middle, and the end. The footage that you see now is from houses that were repossessed by the bank because the owner stopped paying the mortgage for one reason or another. As we will see, this disruption not only affects the owner of the house, but also their family, including their pet dog. Consider that if they were not able to manage their finances to stay in their own home, how would they afford to find rental accommodation in a time when rental accommodation is almost unobtainable and more expensive than home ownership? Consider what may happen to the pets of families that are displaced by losing the family home. Rental property managers are notorious for discriminating against people with pets. I don't want to cast judgment on these owners, I just want to shine a light on these situations so that we may all learn and see a side to pet and property ownership that is not normally seen. Together we will learn to become better prepared pet owners and more stable property owners. By doing this, we give our furry friends the best chance at a long, happy and healthy life. Pre-ownership. Dog ownership is wonderful, but it is a serious commitment that can last up to 20 years. While there are many benefits to dog ownership like companionship and positive social and health benefits, it is essential to ensure that you and your family are in a financially and generally stable place in life. While we often think of dog ownership as just a normal part of life, something everyone should do all the time, but my strong opinion on the matter is that we should first lay a strong and stable foundation for ourselves first. We should list pet ownership as a life goal, but only after we have first got our household budget in order and have a stable and suitable living space. A stable household budget must consider and be ready for the day-to-day costs of dog ownership, including food, water, grooming, treats, bedding, toys, regular vet visits, medicine, pet insurance, puppy preschool, pet training, boarding, travel costs and local government fees for dog owners. Now that we have considered the money aspect, let's consider the living space of the dog. We need to provide a space for the dog to live out its days happily and healthy. It needs enough space to live, sleep, play, eat, exercise, and go to the toilet without all of those activities interfering with each other. You'll need to think about how much time you can offer your furry friend. Dogs are social creatures and need your companionship. If you can't offer this basic need, then they are going to be miserable, and that will manifest as behavioral problems like being vocal, destructive, and potentially violent. As well as keeping each other company, you will also need to train your dog and tend to their needs like feeding, topping up their water, and cleaning up their waste. Most dogs will need to be walked regularly, so don't forget to schedule that in too. Speaking of schedules, it will help to have a visual chart of the daily chores you will need to do a few months before you are required to do them. That way you can get used to doing them and allowing time for them, and you won't have any surprises when your new family member arrives. The beginning. We haven't even talked about the price of the dog yet. Dogs, sadly, are treated like commodities these days and have got very expensive. You should of course look at adoption from a shelter or rescue group first, but this is not always ideal if you have a specific breed of dog in mind to suit your household, personality, or lifestyle. When buying a dog, check with your local authorities to make sure you are buying from a reputable, licensed and trusted breeder, as illegal and backyard puppy farming operations can sell some very sick animals that might require a lot of expensive vet treatment to survive. I have personally seen a golden retriever puppy need $8,000 worth of treatment to survive a parvovirus infection after it was purchased from a backyard breeder. Luckily the little guy survived and lived a long healthy life, but it was a harrowing time for the new owner who didn't want to see the little creature go, and not everyone would have had the money to buy the puppy up front and then the money for the vet treatment. All up, in today's money, it was probably about $20,000 spent just to get the little guy and get him to 3 months old. So avoid that potential misstep and adopt or purchase from reputable and regulated sources and get a happy and healthy animal. Once your new pal has arrived and settled in, you want to start on toilet training and training in general. Getting into a regular routine and enrolling in a puppy preschool or a training program might help. Register your dog with your local government and get acquainted with your local vet. The middle. If you've set everything up right, these are the good years, living your lives together. You'll still need to be prepared for unexpected vet emergencies, and you'll need to have a serious conversation with your family about what to do if your dog gets critically injured or gets sick before it happens. Vet emergencies are emotional and expensive times. If you go into one without a plan or an idea of what to do, you could be left with a huge bill and a dead pet. It's a good idea to set aside an amount of money you are willing to spend to help in this scenario, or have adequate emergency pet insurance in place. You have to be honest with yourself and your family. If you can't afford to save your pet, then the least cruel thing to do might be to let them go. By having this conversation and making this decision early, you can avoid the guilt later on that will come by having to make hard decisions while under a lot of pressure. The end. A part of all pet ownership is the end. And we must be mindful of this always. The end will always come. We must cherish every moment we have with our family and our animals, because we never know when the end may come. Sadly, dogs don't live as long as us. Thinking practically about the end. Again, it comes down to preparation. We know it is inevitable, so if we prepare for it, we make things a little easier on ourselves when this sad time arrives. Pet cremations, urns, and plaques are a great way to remember your furry family member. Loss hits everyone differently, but some time off work will probably be needed, so you'll want to have some personal time saved away at work or some money saved up to have the time off. These are just the things that are constantly going through my head when it comes to dog ownership, that the owners from this footage obviously overlooked. Now I'm sure there were other problems in these people's lives, but as you can see, the dogs they kept were living a pretty miserable life, sometimes living in their own filth, destroying furniture and property. I often see chewed up air conditioners and hot water systems, amounting to thousands of dollars worth of damage and a major point of stress for the homeowner just because they weren't looking after the dog properly. Something so simple to get right came back to literally bite them. The worst example I saw, I was sent to a house and a dog was left in the backyard. Normally the evicted owners would take their animals, or abandoned animals would be rescued, but I guess I was first on scene or something. The dog was very skinny and aggressive. I searched the house for food and threw some over the fence for it to eat until it could be rescued. Another bad one was a homeowner who simply vanished, leaving their dog in the yard. The neighbors had to call the authorities for it to be rescued, as it ended up being months or years before the bank could take the house back. Either way, having an out-of-control or unhappy dog was not doing these people any good and may have been a major factor in their mental and financial decline. Alternatives. If you don't have a dog, but you like dogs, and want to hang out with them, why not ask your neighbors if you can walk their dogs, or offer to wash their dogs for them? You'll be doing them a favor, and you'll be getting something out of it too. You'll get a feel for if dog ownership is for you. Let me know in the comments section of this video if you have any tips to consider before getting a dog. While you are down there, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel to become a regular RepoTourist. That way, YouTube will put our newest videos in your feed when we upload them. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I really wanted to show this footage as it is an all too common theme I see in some of these squalid house repossessions. It's a sad and sickening scene of human and animal decline that I don't like to see, but am confronted with time and time again. Hopefully together we can educate people and let everyone know that you don't have to own a dog. It is okay to not own a dog. Care for yourself before you seek to care for others. Thank you for joining me, tourist. Stay safe and see you on the next one.